Good morning, everybody. So I'm looking forward now to going to the Security Council to get the briefing from the Special Representative H.E Mr on the Middle East. And the most important thing I think that's happened since our last conversations on this, the last briefings on this, is the steps forward on intra-Palestinian reconciliation. I welcome those steps alongside the UN Secretary General and welcome also the efforts of Egypt in bringing those about.
We just heard Ambassador from the Ambassador of Israel saying that they'd like a requirement to be end of hostilities, peace, and a recognition of Israel. Do you expect any of that to happen?
Well, there are a number of conditions which must be met if the ultimate desire of a two-state solution is going to be achieved, and that, of course, includes a safe and secure Israel alongside a viable and sovereign Palestinian state. So those conditions will need to be met, in the future, definitely.
But the Israelis have also just announced a bunch of new settlements in the West Bank. Do you think that's particularly helpful to moving forward with the peace process?
So we have a clear position on settlement building. Illegal settlements should not be built and should not continue.
Is the Security Council going to say anything on the Palestinian deal?
I don't know at this stage if anything is planned from the Security Council. I look forward to discussing it with my colleagues when we do.
Ambassador, I want to take this opportunity to ask about Iraq. I'm sure you saw the recent events. The Kurdish officials saying Iran-backed forces moved into the disputed city of Kirkuk, and now thousands of civilians are fleeing the city. What is your country's position about this? And do you think it should be discussed at the Security Council?
So Iraq has been discussed recently in the Security Council, and in those conversations and consultations, the UK made its position clear that we support the territorial integrity of Iraq, and it's vital that the constitutional provisions are followed. Now, in the situation that's taking place around Kirkuk, I think we and a number of other countries would urge calm, stability, and ensure there is no violence, and that people continue to talk to each other and keep the situation as calm as possible.
Okay, thank you. Last one.
The council going to get a briefing by Mr. Feltman after his trip, and how do you assess the note to correspondence he put out? Do they have a new resident correspondent? Did he get enough access? What is there progress being made on Myanmar by the UN?
So I've read the same things that you've read from Jeff Feltman. I haven't spoken to him personally yet. I look forward to an opportunity to do so. The council's discussed Burma regularly over the past weeks, not least at UK instigation, and most recently on Friday. So I'm sure the pace of conversations will carry on. I don't have a specific date for you on when that will be, but these conversations need to continue because the situation remains appalling. There are now, I think, over 580,000 refugees in Bangladesh. So, we continue to call for an end to the violence there. We continue to say it's vital those refugees are able to return, and we need full humanitarian access, particularly in Rakhine State, and particularly by those agencies able to meet the very pressing need, which is essentially the UN family.
Did you see the story of WFP taking a report down?
Thank you. Thank you.